From the Democratic Club, we want to welcome Jeannie Lepowski and Sue Deering back to the program. Welcome to the show. Sue, this is my first time, I think, with you.
Yes, yes.
Welcome,
Thank you.
welcome. You guys have some amazing stuff coming up, a long list of things, so I want to kind of get right into it, right? Tell us about this candidate forum you have coming up.
Okay. Well, we have a candidate forum for the 47th Congressional District. There are three Democratic candidates running, and they are Dom Jones, Dave Min, and Joanna Weiss. And unfortunately, Dave Min will not be able to be there on the 19th because he has other conflicts on that day. But he did appear at our June picnic, and so residents were able to see him. We had a very good turnout for that, and it was on television on Village TV, and it was also, it's on YouTube, so they will have a chance to see them there. There is no guest fee.
Right, you waive the fee that you usually
yes,
do for your meetings.
Right, we always waive it when we have candidates,
okay?
Because we want as many people as possible to be able to see the candidates in person.
And how important is it for you guys to kind of, when these candidates come through town, to maybe get them and have them featured for folks in here in Laguna Woods Village?
Well, we think it's very important. Our Get Out the Vote program does provide door hangers and advice, voting advice to people, but we want people to know who the candidates are personally as much as possible. And Village TV really is an excellent avenue for us to do that, and the fact that the programs are aired 4 times the following month and then put on YouTube makes the candidates available to a lot more people than just the people that come in person. And also it's important for our pre-endorsement process, which I can talk about later.
Yeah, and so the new districts are out. We had the census, and new districts have been drawn, and so there's some new districts to talk about, and brand new kind of candidates that are running, right?
Right, exactly. And so the candidate forum on the 19th of this month is for Congressional District 47, which is a relatively small proportion of Laguna Woods.
Right.
Most of Laguna Woods is in Congressional District 40, which we also had a candidate forum for those candidates, and those and the recordings are also available.
Young Kim's certainly in that seat right now, right?
That's Young Kim, and so we have 2 Democrats running against her, and I want to also talk about, it's important to know which district you're in, but
that's true.
You'll find out when you get your ballot, worst case. But it's important to note that we have a primary coming up, and that the voting starts in February. We talk about the March primary, but the ballots actually are mailed out at the beginning of February. I believe it's February 6th. And 2 things that are going to be on the primary ballot besides these candidates are 2 constitutional amendments that have passed the legislature, the California legislature, both houses, unanimously. And those are to repeal certain measures in the California Constitution. One of them is Article 34, which originally passed in 1950, and it required that when there's government funding for affordable housing, it has to be approved by an election. Okay, which means that which adds a financial burden and all kinds of obstacles to actually solving our current housing prices.
Right, because nobody ever wants that housing in their neighborhood. You get the NIMBYism that goes on, and so I can see where that would be a hindrance to be able to get that process going.
Yeah, and with the housing crisis so severe, especially in Orange County, where we have some of the highest housing prices, we have to be able to build more housing so that more people can stay in California, the people that we need to run our economy. So that one is coming up. In the March primary. Another one that's another ballot measure that repeals part of our existing Constitution. This is the one that repeals the language of Proposition 8 from 2008, which forbade same-sex marriage. And that language, even though Proposition 8 was passed and then found unconstitutional. The language
Right.
is still in the
It
Constitution.
was really nullified by the Supreme Court in
It
a
was,
sense. So, but
right.
now just kind of one of those get it
Yeah.
off the books kind of things.
Exactly. So now it's kind of we're cleaning up our Constitution to reflect the legal reality.
Right. Right.
And there are other issues associated with that are addressed in the new language that is added to. Well, anyway. So I don't want to get into all the gory
those are the things we're
details,
coming
but-
up most certainly. Sue, we want to get over to some pre-endorsement things you guys are doing on October 21st. Now, the clubs actually have kind of a role in having a voice in the endorsement process, right?
Yes, the Democratic Party provides for clubs to have representatives based on how many members they have.
Okay.
And the Democratic Club in Laguna Woods has more representatives to pre-endorsement conference than any other club in Orange County.
That was going to be my guess.
Yes, yes, we do. We have 17 representatives, and in addition, we have 4 delegates who also go to the convention, but they're elected statewide. We get to vote on who we want to have the endorsement for California Senate and for both congressional districts, and we do not get to vote for who we want for U.S. Senate.
Now, is that a binding or is it recommendatory?
It depends, okay? It depends. There's a complicated process. If a candidate gets 70% of the vote at pre-endorsement, then that is binding, and it goes on to the convention, and that is who the Democratic Party of Orange County endorses.
Okay.
But if it's 60% or if it's 50%, there are other things that come into play. It gets a little more complicated.
You don't quite get that
don't need to
mandate,
know
then
that.
they're still up in the
Right.
air.
Then they have to vote on it at the convention, and then
Okay.
the delegates get to vote, but the representatives do not get to vote.
Okay. One more thing before we go. October 17th, you guys have the professor and chair of the political science at UCI, Simone Chambers, coming to one of your things. Briefly, a little bit up on her.
Well, she's got a book coming out. Her field of study is democracy itself, and contemporary democratic theory is the name of her new book coming out later at the end of the year. Her subject is Christian nationalism as a threat to democracy, which is, of course, not anti-religious. It's about separating church and state. And so she's going to come and talk to us. She's going to talk about what is democracy and is it worth saving, and what is so valuable about democracy. Of course, we all agree
I feel it's worth saving.
Me too.
But real quick, let's put the flyer up on the screen again. I want to talk about that real quick. September 19th, Candidate Forum. You guys have it coming up. Where's and when's and all that stuff. 47th, and what clubhouse is going to be? Or
This is Clubhouse 2, and it
Okay.
starts at 7 o'clock. No fee. You can come at 6:30 to socialize and to meet the candidates. And
Sounds
that's
good.
the basic general meeting.
Good time had by all. All right, Jeannie and Sue, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank
Mike.
you for having us.
When we come back, we're going to preview Monday's movie. You're watching This Day.